Wow. I'll tell you like this. I'm not so used to speaking in the place I'm speaking from now. So I just wanted to share with you a concept that hopefully will be something that we should own. And by owning it, I think that all of us need to recognize that there's a statement that's being made by a lot of people in public positions that they say, we can't wait to get back to the things will get back to normal. And I hope that normal is was good. But there's something Chazal tell us that kol dor shalom nivna beis hamikdash b'yamav ki'ilu nechrav b'yamav. Any generation that the Beis Hamikdash is not rebuilt as if it was destroyed. That means if you think about it right now, as if there's no Beis Hamikdash, it's as if it's on fire and being destroyed right before our very eyes. Now, this is something that's a little bit too intense to think about on a constant basis. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want us to be focusing on this 24/7, 365. But there is a 3-week period where we're supposed to concentrate on that. And there isn't even a part of the day, either Chatzos HaYom, Chatzos HaLayla, which is appropriate to think about this. What is our connection? What is our status? How are we doing in God's eyes? Do we want to get back to normal, or do we want to move forward to great and greater? And I think that that's what we got to focus on. How will we get to a greater place? What are we doing to effect a change for Mashiach to come? And I hope that all of us will think about it and realize that as a fascinating idea that's mentioned many places in the Sfarim Kedoshim. Bnei Yissaschar talks about it a couple places. Many places talk about it. That 40 days before something comes into this world, Arboim Yom Kodem Yitziras Vlad, that's Chazal tell us that 40 days before the Vlad is formed, already the Malachim go into Shemayim and says, Tipazu Mate Aleh, what's going to be with this neshama? But the Bnei Yissaschar actually says 40 days before the world is created, there's like a din happening, and they say, how's this world going to be? How's this year going to be? And therefore, before Rosh Hashanah, not necessarily Rosh Hashanah, but the first day the world was created, either it's the first day of Nisan or the first day of Tishrei, that's when man was created. But you go back 6 days, and it's the 25th of either Adar or the 25th of Elul. And 40 days before that is either Tu B'Shvat or Tu B'Av. And those are days that predetermine how things will be. That means we got to prepare for our future. So we have a very significant date. Now, I'm not sure when you're going to hear this, but on Rosh Chodesh Tammuz, it's Rosh Chodesh like any other Rosh Chodesh. But really, the month of Tammuz was fraught with calamity. For the spies actually set out on Erev Rosh Chodesh Tammuz. They set out to spy the land on the 29th of Sivan. Basically, you can see easy calculation is that 40 days of spying, they came back, and it was Tisha B'Av night. It was the 40th night. And if you make the calculation, they left on Chav Tes Sivan. So it would make sense 40 days beforehand. Everything starts to be determined by this time. So if you're able to see this and it's still Chav Tes Sivan, amazing. If not, anytime. We know that you can prepare yourselves for that future. What can I do to make sure that this year's Tisha B'Av is going to be different? Now we know one of the fascinating things about Tisha B'Av, at Tisha B'Av in the afternoon, when Chazal say that the worst part of the destruction happened on Tisha B'Av afternoon and on the 10th. And yet, on Tisha B'Av every year, instead of staying on the floor, we actually get up off the floor and we sit on regular chairs and we lighten our load of mourning. Why? Well, we know that the Sfarim Kedoshim also say that Mashiach is born on Tisha B'Av. So it also is predetermined 40 days before that how that's going to happen. So if we want to move forward to something great as opposed to go back to normal, which normal is not so good because there's no Beis HaMikdash, we want to move forward to get to the Beis HaMikdash. What do we have to do? So we've got to do two things. Sur Mira v'asei tov. Go away from the bad and do something positive. Go away from the bad. At this period of time is when the Meraglim were in the throes of assembling all the Lashon Hara they wanted to speak. And therefore, it would make sense that we would focus and concentrate on learning Lashon Hara laws of what not to do, how to refrain from Lashon Hara. Even though Chazal tell us that everybody is nichshel in what they call avak Lashon Hara, which is it's a small hint of Lashon Hara. It's not mamish Lashon Hara, but still, we got to try what we can to avoid outright Lashon Hara, whatever we can. We could try to avoid avak Lashon Hara as much as we can as well. So that's a sur mira. And asei tov, I think we also learned from the Meraglim that one of the Meraglim's flaws was that they felt that they didn't have the power. They weren't on the madrega. They felt too lowly of themselves. They thought that they looked like bugs in the eyes of the Anakim because they thought of themselves that way as well. So therefore, we got to think a little bit about godless Adam as well. And the way to do that with an asei tov is v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. I got to find a way of doing something nice for another Yid every day, preferably to start the day. And if we do that, those two things, sur mira, v'asei tov, maybe this year, this Tisha B'Av, instead of going back to normal, we'll move forward to something greater. B'ezras Hashem, we should all be zocha to do our share in that, and we'll be zocha to see the Bias Gold Tzedek B'mher V'Yameinu Amen.